All right, everybody, we are live.
Hola.
What up? What up? Okay. And if you guys hear that random voice that you can't see, that is my good friend Davide Aroldi. Excuse me, I'm horrible with enunciating that. But, anyways, what's going on, everybody? And today we're gonna be talking about a little bit of the nitty gritty behind building a brand with your as a producer. And this is stuff that will all transfer over for if you're just a musician in a band, whatever. The things that we're going to be talking about definitely apply to more than just being a producer. I want to stress that. But it's something that he's done and he's managed to do over in Italy, and it's something that I've managed to do over here in the United States. So don't feel like just because you're in some random corner of the world, you're like, oh, these concepts don't apply to me. It's like, dude, we are literally doing it on the opposite sides of the world. So, yeah, you have no excuses.
Exactly.
Get your shit straight. No.
Exactly.
All right. So we are here. Right. Cool beans. What's up, Davide? How are you doing?
All great, man. Like, I'm keeping sane in the semi-lockdown here in Italy.
Oh, jeez.
With some gigs
Right.
and stuff. So, yeah, all good, man. So far.
Word. So, tell me about yourself. Like, I've talked to you. I've worked with you on a couple projects. Like, I think I've sent you stems before for bands that I've recorded over here. But tell me about how you got started in all this. Like, how'd you come up and what made you want to be a producer? Like, of all things.
Oh, okay. So, it all started with my passion for amps. Because I started with the with playing guitar, and I always noticed that I liked the sound of things, and I went mad nerdy about all which amp was used on which album that I liked. So
For sure.
I noticed that I was cranking more like the amp knowledge more than plain knowledge. So I realized that, oh wow, maybe I like the sound, the side of things, and so I kind of reached out about audio and all the stuff, software recording and those all of the stuff. And I remember that I got intimidated by one tutorial on Cubase.
Yeah.
And I feel that was a breaking point, like make it or break it. Like okay, I may be intimidated forever by this thing, or I could be interested.
Yeah, it's like
Yes,
it's
I
like
was
you
interested.
yeah, I was gonna say, obviously we know which way you went on that.
Yeah.
So you
it
came
was,
out, you started out basically as a gear nerd, and you realized that making the tones and making those sounds was a lot more fun than, I mean, I wouldn't even say more fun, but it was equally as fun as creating the music to begin with.
Exactly.
Word.
Like all the stuff, and it's fun because I'm not a gear nerd anymore.
Oh, really?
We prefer to make the music now, and it's weird how that changed, but how being a gear nerd in the first place brought me to this.
Well, yeah,
It's pretty crazy, but
it's funny the
so
transitions you make. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was doing a normal high school, a classical address high school here in Italy. I'm not sure if there is in America the classical high school where you study Greek, Latin, and all that useless shit.
We've got like, I mean, for us, it's just like, we have, elementary, middle school, then high school.
Yeah.
It's like 4 years, and like they have band, like school band, but it is definitely, when I say a school band, it's like, it's like marching band or, like a symphony kind of stuff. I really wish I would have actually been a part of that instead in high school. I wanted to be the guy that played football and, and realistically what I did was I ended up playing football and then playing in my band when I went home. And,
Okay, cool.
yeah, but
Yeah, it was like more like classical matters of like ancient Greek language, Latin. So
Jesus.
all of useless stuff that brought me to severe depression because it was 5 years of useless shit.
Oh, see, we only have 4 years of high school.
Yeah, man, it's weird here. So, but then I attended to SAEI Institute I'm not sure if there's in America as well, but there's in Australia, Europe,
Yeah.
SAI Institute, SAI
Yeah.
Institute, and when I did the 2 years of free full time, so it was like 4 days a week and all the stuff, and I did that because I wanted the overall approach that a school could give me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I feel that, and I think that's an interesting topic, the school thing in audio. Some people, too much people go there because they think that they'll need that as passepartout in order to work, but that's not. We both know that it doesn't mean shit.
It really doesn't.
The degree. Yeah,
it is.
I mean,
it's a slip of paper that will, if you're trying to get in, if you're trying to work for somebody, I've always felt like, that a degree is going to mean something because it will put you in the, above the other guys that are applying. However, if you're doing something that's a creative career, then 9 times out of 10, just because you went to Media Tech, which is, one of the schools around here, or, if you, just because you went to college for production or for audio, dude, you'd have been better off going for music business and understanding. At least go to school for something that's more on the business side of stuff, not so much the actual act of producing. Yeah,
exactly. And maybe it helps in some eye level studios when you apply for a slave. And maybe they might consider you in some situation, but I didn't do that for data because I just wanted the overall approach that only a school could give me, and in order to have the chance to work on some really cool gear, just like SSL and all this stuff. So
now that is definitely what you're basically you're paying a school to be able to go use some really nice shit that you'll probably never be able to afford.
And also I got also really cool teachers. For example, one mixed the Muse. One of my teachers mixed Muse.
That's tight.
And other really cool historic pop artist in Italy. So I mean, there was like a solid staff that knew what the fuck they were doing. For sure,
so, if you've got good teachers, then that can never hurt.
Yeah, I think that it was cool, but even in that situation, every time I went back home, I always applied what I learned, not in something like their own exercises, but in my own scenarios. Like, I don't know if you were around the Chango forum.
Oh yeah, no,
Okay, cool.
In fact, I've talked to Cameron. I'm actually going to be bringing him on, hopefully sometime soon.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, like, around, 2015, 2014...
That's right about the time that I was getting into it, yeah.
Yeah, I was... do you remember the cover songs that you could mix, the instrumentals, multi-tracks, that people made some covers?
Yeah, like they would do the stem shares.
Yeah, the stem share. I applied everything that I learned in school into that situation because it was... when you don't have paid gigs, you try not exercise.
Yeah, you gotta have something to practice on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly, and something to show. So I tried to apply and ask for feedback to my own teachers, and it was a cool experience. Then I had my first paid gig in late 2015, I guess. A scam band. Funny enough.
Okay.
They tried to scam some people.
It
was it was pretty weird. But it was a lesson.
Yeah.
For sure, it was a lesson. In order to. I didn't get scammed, but the situation was bad.
Yeah. And, people like that. It's God, you gotta watch out for that.
They were scamming, asking for a payback from people because they didn't were satisfied with the product. They were trying to use all of these ways to get back the money. It was a weird situation, but anyway, the music was cool, and I've done that. The first situation. Then I got some local bands, and but always in the first place, I will always try to work with more foreign bands as possible. And
really?
Still now, I mainly work or with like USA bands
Really?
and online, because I honestly prefer to work with you guys.
Well,
And mainly, well, there are various reasons. So numbers,
yeah.
styles. I mean,
Yeah, I guess
for what I wanted
stylistically,
to
yeah.
produce.
There's, I guess there wouldn't be as many bands over there doing that.
Yeah, and for what I want to produce, you guys got it. So I mean, talking about sound especially.
Yeah.
And also communication.
For sure.
I always find myself way more comfortable, and it's easier to communicate with USA people.
Yeah.
Rather than even sometimes even other countries in Europe, and especially in Italy.
Really?
In Italy, yeah, it's I think it's a social approach of things.
Really?
Like, I saw that you guys are way more easy, pragmatic, and straight to the point in things.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in my 4 trips in USA, I noticed that. And you're in that being pragmatic and straight to the point. You're also more easygoing in
Really?
things, in conversations. I noticed that. I've noticed that.
It's funny. I've worked with one band that was from overseas. I've worked with a couple, but the one that I worked with that I enjoyed the most was this band from Australia. And these dudes, it was so fun working with them, and it was funny how very attentive to detail their drummer was. It was another one of those situations like we were talking about earlier, where the drummer, like, he was noticing things in the mix, I guess he was just like honed in on his drums, and he was like, he very much wanted me to make sure that like I had like all like the little cymbal swashes and like bell hits and things like that really came through. And it was unique because it was like, you know, when I listen to a song, I'm kind of listening as a whole vibe. So even as a drummer, like, I play drums for my band, he was catching things that I wasn't catching in the drums. I'm like, damn, am I really like? It just kind of made me take a step back and like reassess, like, okay, I really need to change how I listen to this, because I was going for more vibe overall, and he was like, nah, fam, we need all these little hits. And I'm like, okay, cool. So when I started actually working with it, I was like, dude, I see what you're going for. I see the disconnect, or where the disconnect was originally, but I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, it was a lot of fun, and those dudes were a blast to work with. In fact, I think me and the drummer, he messaged me the other day, and he plays World of Warcraft, so probably gonna end up playing with them on that. Might even do some streams with them.
Cool.
But yeah, dude, it was like, it's cool working for me. Like, I guess, you know, for you, it's you primarily work with USA bands, and obviously I do too. That's pretty much all I talk to around here. But working with, I can see, I guess, what you're talking about as far as when you work with bands from different areas. Like, I can see there being a difference between the United States and them. I just don't have a big sample pool.
For example, I noticed that Swiss bands, Switzerland bands, are like machines, for real. Like, people in bands are so quick in the payments, and even the notes in the revisions.
No kidding.
They're fucking machines, and everything flows. Dude, for real, the archetype of the Swiss people, like precious people, hardworking men, it's real, and even
cool.
Everything flows so fast. Everything flows so fast, and you don't have some issues that you might usually have with starting bands that might not send you the files correctly, man. And even if they don't send the file correctly, they find a way to fix it. It's weird. So I noticed that from country to country it changes. I noticed that in Italy, not to bash the Italy bands because I love my colleagues, but I noticed that mentality is like a more like province slash family mentality, and I'm gonna explain that.
Okay.
It's like lots of bands don't see the global vision of things. And overall, they got like a family approach when it comes to a producer or something. They they find that one producer they are good with, then they vibe with, and it's hard to change it.
I say that.
Even
I know
they-
a lot of bands even over here in the States that do that. In
Okay,
fact, I was just talking about
cool.
one of the bands that I work with. They were asking me. They were like, "Hey, if your band ends up doing well and you guys end up having to go on tour and things like that, we're finishing up their first record right now, and they're like, you've helped us as much as we have. Like, we don't want to go anywhere else. Like, how are you going to work with, like, how is that going to work?" I'm like, well, for starters, let's take it one step at a time. Like, I can't guarantee that we're going to do anything, but the goal is obviously that, I do want to tour with Mirror Lake. I do want to, I want to turn that into a powerhouse band. That would be awesome. But I told him, I was like, guys, worst case scenario, like, I would love to always be a part of stuff like this, but worst case scenario is if our schedules don't align, that means that you guys are on a crunch. That means you're doing well as well. So it's like, I would do everything that I can to help you guys, right? I would, like, even if I can't be the one that necessarily produces it, like, I'd love to be a part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I noticed that.
But that mindset, I just I've seen a lot of bands over here that have that.
Okay, and I noticed that from some colleagues as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even as approach, like, these are my bands. They don't like the competition, the eventual competition of even me, like, hitting up the band, even if I don't know they were working with X producer. Oh, what I mean. Of course, you don't hit up the band that is working right now with
of course, but it's like, if you want to,
that's just paid test.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna hit a band that I don't necessarily know that you're working with, or maybe that you worked the latest release with, but now I don't know because I like the bands, I think that I could give input. Some people are like, I don't really, there's like room for everyone, and like, don't hit up my bands.
No, that's stupid.
They're not your bands. They're like your clients. Yeah. And if the band wants to go with someone, it's like a girl. You know what I mean? It's like being jealous with. Man, for real. Like, if you're gonna be jealous for your bands, and you fear that other colleagues hit up your bands for just like hit up the other dudes hitting up your girl.
Yeah.
I sense a fear of not self-worth from the producer. Yeah,
exactly.
In the first place.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean.
Yeah, relating that analogy, it's like, no, definitely. Like, my logic is if I've got my girlfriend and, like, obviously I see something beautiful in her, it's like, I want other people to see that, but at the same time, like, we're together. Like, I'm confident enough in myself, and relating back to producer, it's like, I'm confident enough in my own work that it's like, if the band wants to go work with somebody else, by all fucking means. How can I help if I need to help going forward? If you don't want to work with me, oh well. It's not worth, like, trashing a relationship because they want to try something, like that. And 9 times out of 10, what ends up happening is, I'll have a band that say maybe they want to see what their stuff sounds like being mixed by somebody else. It's like, cool. Well, then come to me. Let's record it. We know we have a process that works and is smooth. Fine. We'll record it and send it out. In fact, I think that's literally how it went whenever I first met you. One of the bands.
For real?
Yeah, one of the bands that I worked with, they, like, I had done some stuff with the guy before, and he was...
Oh, it was... maybe it was for Bile?
Yeah, I think it was Bile.
Or...
No.
Oh, yeah, for...
Was it...
Oh, yeah,
was
it was for Bile.
Was it Bile
or another project? Or Rotten Rose. Maybe... yeah, it was for the band for... I don't know what happened to the project, but it was for a song called Rotten Rose.
Oh, okay,
I just remember that. It was with Isaiah.
That's ironic. He's actually... Yeah, it was Isaiah. Yeah, he...
Okay, on vocals.
Yeah, he's actually he's coming over today, and you want to know something funny? That song "Rotten Rose" is one of the songs that, like, he's got like 5 of them with his band. And cool. That song "Rotten Rose" is one of them. We're still making, like, he wanted to make some writing adjustments to it before. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And and I don't know if you notice that even if you let bands go with someone else, so most of the time they come back.
Absolutely.
Because.
Absolutely.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. It's like it happens sometimes, like with a band that like, okay, we're considering to go somewhere else, and okay, the first times I was like,
yeah, it does. It stings. It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like,
because it's,
exactly.
It's the first time that your ego goes
exactly
by that, and but then when I said, okay, let's go. Then some months later, they told me, oh, we got it the mix. Can you give us feedback? And usually, if they are asking to the previous producer to give a feedback, they're not content.
Yeah, they're not
and
happy.
need the confirmation that the mix is shit.
Yep. No, but that's the thing. What I try and do is, like, for me, I had a band. We had done their first EP, and then in between their first EP and their second EP, they went and they did a one-off single. I tracked it, and they sent it off to a guy who, he's big in the music scene, but he's not big as a producer. He's big as something else. I'm not gonna trash on him or anything, because when they got the mix back, it was dog shit. Like, when I say it was rolling fucking dog shit, like, I was just like, dude, I don't ever dog. Like, I always try and find the nice thing to say about, you know, somebody's work. And I was,
but there aren't in this case.
Dude, in my case, I'm not even trying to be mean about it. I was just like, dude, the pre-pro, like, and they had led with that. They were like, bro, we feel like the pre-pro sounded better. I was like, you know, you're not wrong, but I don't know, man. If you guys want to use it for the promotion, that's cool. Like, for having the name attached to the project, that's cool. And they were like, can you do a mix for us? I'm like, oh god, yeah, sure, here we go. And then, you know, then they dropped that version. I was just like, oh god. And,
you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. So but like at the moment, the scenario is that I mainly do recordings and vocal production here with bands that and they hit me up. I don't ever hit up now bands unless they are like, oh my god, holy fucking shit, I gotta work with you guys here in Italy. But they're usually not, or maybe some colleagues bring me a lead, and I like lately I prefer to have a marginal role into something way better. For example, there are some really way more known and way better, actually better colleagues than me that I got some works with. And for example, I had the chance sometimes to record the vocals for a band that will be mixed by X colleague, or maybe that colleague will do mastering on some stuff, or, you know.
That's always a blast.
I love the teamwork.
Yeah.
Thing. I love the teamwork thing in order to do something really cool.
Absolutely.
Because it's like the knowing your limits and knowing your strengths per project. So
it's like whenever you put together, like, it's like yeah, you can have, you know, you can be, you know, Thor or Iron Man, but it's like, if you put together a team of producers that's the Avengers, that's a whole nother level of awesome. It's like, if I know I'm damn good at this and I handle just this aspect of the project, while we have other people that are delegated that are to do what they're best at, bro, shit comes out so good.
Yeah, for example, now I try to do more like vocal production, and if I have to record stuff, and also mixing, but also the post-production side, like adding layering, SFX, and that's something that I did.
That's funny, because I hate that side of stuff. Like, I'm not saying, like, I guess I'm not really saying I hate it. I'm saying I hate it. I am. I don't like doing that part, but at the same time, that's the part that, like, really takes that production to that. Like, it's the icing on the cake. And for me, it took me the longest time to figure out synths in general. It's like, I came from playing drums and guitar and writing songs, and like, not having those elements. Like, so yeah, opening up and figuring those out. Oh my god. Most people make jokes about snare tones. It's like, dude, I got into production and snares were pretty straight off the bat for me. Like, it's the fucking pianos and synth and all that, like, writing the arrangements around it and not knowing jack shit about music theory. So, like, adding those layers, was a pain.
I will say that I don't know much about music theory, and what I'm talking about is more like the soundscape side.
That's always been fun.
Of things. Yeah, and some layering of scenes, but more like soundscapes, and that's something that I really like lately to do. I mean, I always do that for my mixing and mastering deals. I always include that because I know that most of the time, if I don't put that extra sauce, the song won't perform well as much it will do. And I mean, I like it
Mhm.
to do. I like to do that. I mean, mixing takes me relatively not much time.
Yeah.
I prefer to spend more time adding value, real value on a musical level,
Yeah.
and everyone is happier. I mean, you know what I mean. So, and that's something that I'm specializing lots. What I don't really like to do is recording instruments.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I don't really like to. I mean, I do that,
Mhm.
but you know, when you do something like it's like doing that and an okay job,
Yeah.
and not a great job. You know what I
Word.
mean? And I don't like to do that. And editing.
Yeah, real quick.
Those are two.
What DAW are you running?
Oh, okay, so at the moment I run with the Studio One 5 Pro, and for electronic music I got a license for Ableton Pro.
Okay.
And man, those were game changers. Like I started with GarageBand, Logic, then moved to Pro Tools,
Yeah.
and then I noticed that Studio One 4. I got the artist version because I attended to a workshop, and okay, so the Studio One 4 is out. There are already some other colleagues told me about that.
Yeah.
I know this, and I was like, wow. Like Pro Tools, I'm not sure. I don't know which one you use.
Yeah,
or
I run
don't
Pro
wanna
Tools.
offend-
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're not gonna offend me. I've heard all the horror stories about Pro Tools. Like
Yeah,
I
man.
know what people do and don't like about that software.
Like I got it to learn that in school, of course,
Yeah.
because it's a standard for audio,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I realized it's a standard for certain situations.
Yeah.
Like the big studio
Yeah.
thing, in which I personally, maybe because I'm more on the producing electronic side of music
Yeah.
too, and I need an overall, though a comprehensive and really intuitive one. But as for my 3 years user of Pro Tools, that was a fucking nightmare compared to Studio One, because for example, the approach, it was a mix of things. You can map your own things. So I noticed just this thing. What I see, the Pro Tools approach is way more has got more sense in the big studio, in which you need the HDX drivers. I mean, for big recording studio situations, I see the point in having that.
Yeah. Like the low
because
latency
they are
capability, all that.
yeah, like big recording sessions, and especially for recording mixing stuff. You know, I like the MIDI. I couldn't get it along with the MIDI or other stuff in that.
That's
one.
funny. That
It's a matter of approach.
Yeah.
Other people like it with Cubase. To each its own. You know what I mean. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, and the learning curve was surprisingly quick.
Yeah.
It
seemed-
one
yeah.
month, and I could,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like with Studio One, I've heard a lot of people making jumping ship from Pro Tools over to Studio One.
Yeah, because you know what? It's like a baby from an orgy for between Pro Tools, Logic, and Cubase.
Yeah.
But all the three had sex, and they came
Oh my
out
God.
Studio 1.5. For real, man.
It's like it's like the love child of all of those.
Yeah, exactly. I can show you some videos one day.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love-
if you want. But it's really cool because, let's say for example, even the comping, you know, when you record stuff,
Yeah.
it's a mix between the Logic and the Pro Tools ones.
Okay. See,
Approach.
my
So
thing with
even
Logic
that
is I
thing-
have yet to export stems properly out of Logic first try. Like, I will have people send me, you know, like pre-pro coming in from like their iPhones
Yeah.
or things like that. And so I'll put it on my laptop where I've got Logic, and then I'll move it over to my computer. And because I run PC, so I'm running, you know, Pro Tools on
Okay.
this. But I will take from my MacBook, I'll bring the Bandcamp session in, and I'll go to export stems, and oh my, like I have never once on first try gotten the right thing to send over. Like it's always like a big ass blank folder or big ass blank file. I'm just like,
Yeah, it's weird.
I hate that software so bad.
I always add some issues with Logic as well. Yeah, the export process is not that easy.
Yeah.
And one of the other things in Studio One is that you can really literally export by dragging out things.
Oh, no kidding. They just have like a drag and drop out. Like,
yeah, man, it's like it's like you got a range tool thing that you like mark the start and finish of the song. Let's say that you got some vocal takes now, like okay, so you got all the vocal, you like, and you consolidate them, Alt Shift in the specific folders. You can make it with the rendered effects or row.
Yeah.
You export that row and bam, you got
that's
them.
nice.
You got them.
See, I'm enjoying Pro Tools' feature right now, where it's like if you have a MIDI track, you just highlight it, right click, commit, and now it's printed into an audio track. I'm like, oh my god, because so before I built my new PC, and God, I gotta do a video on that, because that's something I feel like a lot of producers need to understand is like, dude, you don't need a fucking monstrous workhorse to have a really good computer for basic recording. But that's a whole sidetrack. Before I built my PC, I was running on a Mac, and I think you can actually see it in the shot. Like, it's sitting back over here. I'm still cleaning it off.
I see that.
I'm about to factory wipe it because a friend of mine bought it. But I was running on Pro Tools 10. So to give you a perspective, like, you know how the new Pro Tools are running the AAX plugins? Oh my god.
Yep.
The new AAX plugins. And Pro Tools 10 was the last one that had the RTAS. So when I say I was living in like 2012 on Pro Tools for like the last 8 years, like I started on it and I never moved. Like people were always bitching about Pro Tools because it's like they run an update and it ruins all the plugins, or like they have to go in and fix a lot of shit. There's a lot of bugs and all that. I was like, dude, I got my shit working and I hit the freeze button on my Mac. Like that OS didn't change, nothing changed. I was like, if it ain't broke, we ain't fixing this. And it was awesome, but at the same time, moving from that version of Pro Tools to the new one, I'm like, oh my god, there are so many features that I really wish I like.
Yeah, one of the things that I noticed is that they implemented some cool features between the 10 and the 12. Like I stopped at the 12. I started and stopped at 12 because then they started with the subscriptions plans and all the stuff that I don't like. Yeah. But for some reason, they kind of implement things slowly. For example, the folders track. Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, it's something that other DAWs
Cubase has had that for years. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's something that makes me angry against Davide and will tell like, fuck off, dude. I don't want to use your software anymore. You're kidding me. Like, and even the dark mode.
That's what I was about to say. The dark mode, like that was like one of the most like for the update. That is the most disrespectful like talking points they could have given their audience. Like, like, dude, don't get me wrong. It's gonna look cool, but like, why are you hyping that?
It's cool.
So many like your shit looked out of date when I got into this in 2012. Like there's no reason you should be happy about this. Like you should have just kind of slid that under like, hey guys, we got dark mode. Like cool.
And you know what? You know what's fun is that so I don't know your timeline, but my timeline was flooded with oh my god, dark mode.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Everyone's talking about it.
Tracks. Dude.
I'm pretty sure Studio One was legit a dark mode from the start.
No, you can change every color you want.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Literally. Like you had y'all had that option from the start. Like Studio One had that. Like I remember I worked.
It's so weird.
So I worked at Guitar Center when I got into production, and one of the PreSonus reps came through our store, and he was like, because apparently they had a partnership with Melodyne and everything, and someone had told me about it. So I was like, I'm sitting there talking to him, like, hey, I heard, Studio One. It was right when Studio One 2 came out, is when he was talking to me. Oh. And so he's sitting there. Yeah, the old days. Sorry, somebody in chat, Bamsterberry. He actually, that around this time is when I met him. No, so when I started talking to him, he's like, oh yeah, we got Studio One. It comes with Melodyne integration, like. You'll have vocal tuning or tuning ability right from the get-go. You'll have all of this like audio to MIDI, all of this shit. And I'm like, yo, that's really cool. And so he actually gave me a code back then, and I took it home, and I never spent the time to actually learn Studio One. Now I looked at the new Pro Tools update, and now they're bragging about how they've got dark mode and audio to MIDI function because of partnership with Melodyne. I'm like, guys, come on.
I got a new use license for Studio One that I can give you.
Oh, dude, I'd love to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I send you that. It's for Mac only.
That sucks.
It's for the 4, I think, because I'm not sure if I can get multiple. But man, if you ever want to try that somewhere,
I've got my laptop. I try it on there, like my MacBook.
Yeah, and one of the coolest thing about Studio One is the dedicated mastering thing.
Oh, they have their own built-in mastering suite?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I don't have to relate to Wavelab or anything else, I can master the own. So, yeah, and I use that one and Ableton for electronic music production.
Yes, I know a lot of people that use it.
Yeah, at the first go, I was like, "What the fuck is this? Holy shit! It's so hard because everything is sideways. It's on the other side, like from right to left."
It's a weird layout, but at the same time, it's like if you're doing EDM, if you're doing any kind of electronic music where you're changing pitch a lot or you're doing a lot of MIDI processing. No, dude, Ableton is laid out like once you realize how it is laid out, like, dude, it's like everything is so fast.
Man, I was trying it out and I did like an house trance song in 1 hour, and I never did house trance in my life. So I was like, what the fuck, this is the best creativity tool that I ever used, and I'm still using that for electronic music beat making, because I also do beat making. And one of the cool things is that here in Italy I'm trying more to do beat making since rap is a big thing here. So I prefer to work on that stuff with Italian acts here.
Sure.
And even in general, I think that's the coexisting of the metal bands mixing and producing and the electronic beat making things and writing. They help me with the creativity on each other, because they inspire me from one side, and then from the other side they inspire me from things.
That's what's funny. Two of the people that are in chat right now are some of my clients, and one of which she's a pop singer. Like we're doing like a pop record for her. The other one is like this like straight up metal band, and it's like the polar opposites of the two. And I'm just like, yeah, working with each of them has taught me so many different things when it comes to songwriting approach, things like that. Like I totally understand that.
And I noticed that the teamwork thing in the rap pop scenario is even more important.
Yep.
Like I don't know if you know this, but in the teamwork scenario, when there are various people involved, so X people does the beat making, X people does the production, X people does the mixing, and you do the mastering, for example. No one is interested to take the spotlight. Everyone does his fucking job.
Exactly. Yeah, you get a team together, you have one person in charge of them, and then they do their fucking jobs. Yeah.
It's so cool, man, and you form so many other possibilities that for some reason, at least here, hi there.
That's my son.
And for some reason, in metal, it's less happening with metal bands. At least in my experience, I noticed that more like there are more restricted operating people in there. Not sure if there's a budget thing or whatever.
I don't feel like it's a budget.
I think it's a culture thing.
Yeah, it's part of it's kind of a metal culture thing. Is like if you look at genres like rap and pop and rock does it too, and like country's big on it as well, where in those genres it's okay to have multiple people sitting and writing a song together, like working together and collaborating and coming up with the best product possible. Whereas if you look at a lot of like punk metal and just like in that direction, like the farther into metal you get, the more isolationist they get, in the sense of they're like, yo, I write my music, nobody touches my shit, and if anybody helps you write your music, you're fucking trash. No, that is not how it goes. The fact of the matter is that if you're in a project and you want to have the best product come out, start the idea yourself if you're so worried about it. But don't restrict yourself to the point where you're like, you just refuse to have anybody touch your stuff. Like,
yeah. And the byproduct of that is the family approach. Like my producer, the thing that
Yeah.
goes, oh, I mean, don't leave the ship that's going good
Yeah,
mentality,
it's like,
or
yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix
stuff like
it. No,
that.
I understand that logic, but at the
Yeah,
same time, it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
also if if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if you do the same thing 3 or 4 times, then enjoy the stalemate that you're going to put yourself into.
Yeah, I noticed that even in big productions with big names that I won't name, but to my taste, I can feel where when they were doing the same thing. You know what I mean, stylistically and mixing. It comes really to a different a personal taste thing.
Yeah.
But I noticed that X producer made X band sound the same for 3 records. I was like, man, maybe they should approach the music differently or change the producer, I guess, because it's like a playing the safe game
Yeah.
to me. And you know what I mean. So and talking about the rap, it comes my. Oh, if you have any questions, tell me, because I usually do a process, a thought process that brings me to explaining some all the stuff. So if you got any questions, it's like a tale that my.
No, you're good, man.
So okay.
Yeah. The one thing that I really want to touch on, because we're getting somewhat close towards our time frame here. One thing I wanted to talk to you though about is because you talk about how your clientele is primarily United States clientele.
Yeah.
And obviously you did not go just start showing up at shows in the United States like, hey bro, let me produce your band. Like, I want you to talk about how you managed to build that clientele, because obviously you didn't do it in person, which means, the whole word of mouth thing it'll work but you didn't get that initial FaceTime with these bands. So how did you build your brand online? Is where I'm getting at.
So partly I don't remember. Partly I think it's due to the vocals thing.
Yeah.
The vocal cover. The vocals cover, when we knew each other, I was mainly more producer, audio. So, but back in 2015, 2014, I was like lots of covers, lots of vocal stuff, because I wanted to establish myself as vocalist.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was learning audio, and sometimes even in those ultimate stem share forums, I offer myself to do vocals for the covers that need vocals. So cool. There are still some with my vocals on, and that helped me to have a bit of visibility, I guess. But that's not even that. And even there, in Italy, I became like the vocal guy, the vocal covers guy, and time to time I empathized with the other vocalists of the bands. And slowly I use the vocal thing, the vocal covers that I still make sometimes for some bands that I really like, and I empathize. Then, okay, oh cool, I wanna have you like on a guest spot. Okay, cool. Hey, I can even make a mix test for that, and boom, I got some bands. I like for example, I got one of the best bands that I work with so far are Steel Bloom and the Alpha Virus and other bands that I got that job initially by Isaiah. Same Isaiah Watton, because we were pals about the vocal thing. He liked my vocals, I liked his vocals, and hey, we got it. He brought me in a project, and it's a lot about empathizing, I guess, and networking. Because I didn't have to do I couldn't do the in-person thing, so it's all about that, I guess, and and showing up, I guess. But also the band thing. I mean, having a band that is that people like will help you immensely. Like for example, the Hater project went a bit good for my previous project. Some people like it, and it was going good in down tempo scene, and some people like the vocals, and some people brought the attention to me for that.
Yeah.
And so I use that for bridging them to my outlet, the audio. So I didn't. I try not to go to the knocking doors like, hey, I do audio.
Yeah.
Let's work together. I try to do the less possible because that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
That just doesn't work if you're not that much established.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean lots of established. Like it's better to empathize with people, and that's one of the reasons why I also went to for the nickname Hades instead of before I was Hades Recordings. I was called, but I don't want to. It all came down to an identity crisis that I had last year, and I went for a nickname approach instead of a studio because I wanted to go for a producer personal approach. Who is Hades? What the fuck would someone name himself Hades? And I took that from for example the Machine.
Yeah.
You know, Machine producer.
Yeah.
The Machine Shop. He calls himself Machine, and was like, I didn't know him his real name for years because I knew him as Machine.
You see that a lot more, in the EDM scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Machine, who produced Lamb of God, and Big Chocolate as well. Big Chocolate remix. He did some remixes for the deathcore scene for a while.
Yeah.
And is even Drew Falk with the blood. He calls literally himself with the blood with just the consonants, and man, that's pretty weird and still
it's
interesting.
Cool. It's almost like a band name. Like it's so it's
me,
more of a unique branding decision. I see that.
Yeah, to me it's more interesting rather than like Aroldi audio or whatever with studio or recording, because people will perceive you as a place, as a facility, while to be honest I'm just working for my own, and tomorrow I can be working in another studio. I also like the flexibility of moving around. I'm the studio.
Yeah.
I'm the thing, not the place that I go to work in. You know what I mean? So that's why I go. And also because I'm working with rap and working since I'm trying to work with that stuff as well. In the credits, you know, there's like prod and the name of the producer. Like, it's better to see Prod Hates rather than Prod Hates Studio or whatever.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
What I mean?
Yeah, no. Yeah, my thing was always like, because I have Bravery Sound, which is my studio and everything.
Yeah.
But lately, I've realized that I'm wanting to branch out and do a lot of other things as well, and that's why I have the Twitch, and I'm just like, look, I am Brian Mertz. Like, ain't nobody doing what I'm doing. So it's like, the Brian Mertz, cool, that's me. For production, it's like, just put Brian Mertz. Like, for me, it was just my name. Bravery Sound was an anagram, not anagram. I don't know. It was a combination of me and my vocalist for Mirror Lake. Me, Brian Avery. Like, we started it, and like, when I got started, the best advice that I ever got was, this sucks, do it better. And this is why it sucks. Like, not so much how it sucks, but this is where it sucks. And when, like, I would not have learned how to be a producer at all had it not been for Avery literally listening to mixes and just going, oh my God, what did you do to this? So when I was trying to name the studio, I was like, Brian, Avery, Bravery. Hey, cool. Yeah, that works. But no, but like, for me, it's just like, if I was doing a lot more EDM, if I was doing a lot more rap and stuff like that, then having that I guess moniker is the right word, or just like a stage name almost. That makes a lot more sense.
Also, I use the approach of the nickname because I don't. I mean, we both are mainly producer, audio engineers, but one of the things that I realized lately is that I'm not only that thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if I named that Davide Aroldi.com or Davide Aroldi producer, First, it's one of the most fucking boring things that I ever see. I literally hate when people X name and producer like, oh wow, I know that you're a producer. What a great.
Yeah.
They're like incanalating themselves with that labeling, and people will perceive them for a long time, even if they don't do that anymore.
Yep.
I don't really like the people perceiving me for only certain things. You know what I mean? I'm more than that. I'm a vocalist. I'm sometimes I do glitch art for fun. So that's why I got a personal profile, and the IMH profile.
Yeah.
And the personal profile is links all my outlets because. Maybe some people don't wanna see my audio thing, or maybe some people are interested in my audio thing and don't wanna see my band's thing. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe some people wanna see only my cats. So,
For sure.
You know what I mean.
Well,
So,
that's my logic with my Twitch channel. Is like, yeah, I want whenever like if anybody who follows my Twitch, it's like, look, this is me. Like you might have seen me at a Mirror Lake show. You might have seen me through. You might know me through production. You might know me off YouTube. I don't care where you know me from. This is me. This is what I do. And by the way, I like playing video games. So if you came here just for one thing, understand that one thing doesn't define me. So we're going to be doing a lot of things, and I like talking about a lot of different things. So it gives me that hub and platform to just be like, hey, what's up, guys?
I think that the name and surname thing comes up only in certain situations if you're involved in really, really, really big things and you are at a certain point of your career in which you're not interested in doing other things, or you want people to know you just for X things. But still, this can change. And that can be really limiting. That's why I got various monikers. I'm just like Davide Aroldi normally, and people can link or to all of my outlets, and that's the same that you're doing. So I think that's the smartest way too.
Yeah.
Because
appreciate that.
So yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up this real quick. So one thing that I always that I'm trying to build, that I feel like. I've talked to you a little bit about like what we're doing, like with the whole like the YouTube channel and like the stream and all that. But one thing that I always want to recommend for people is, so I'm building a Discord community, and the logic is I want to have as many producers, I want to have as many creatives from all walks of life, whether you're a musician, a producer, a graphic designer, a director, whatever you do. I want to have like a centralized hub. Think like the Chango studio with less, like the Chango forums with less memes, okay?
With less audio or media.
I mean, we can do memes. I'm not even against that. It's more so with less fucking trolls. Like I
That's crazy, lol.
Yes, for real. Like all that shit.
It's crazy, lol.
It's like you see those people, and it's like, what did you gain by just posting, just shit posting? I'm like, oh god.
I miss that a bit.
Oh yeah.
The golden days.
Yeah, they were funny. It was funny, but it was
but I know what I mean. I know what you mean. But it was silly.
Yeah.
At the point, you wanted to make something constructive, and there was like a fucking idiot making some fucking clown or media reverb. Oh, that's crazy, lol, for the 100th time, and I was
it's like, dude, that shit was funny at first, but it's like, at the end of the day, what we're creating is not even a marketplace, because I'm not trying to use this Discord as to market anything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I want it to be a place where if you're a new producer coming into the game, you come in here, you got people that are genuinely open-minded enough to be like, hey, listen, I can teach you everything I know, and you still won't sound like me because I sound like me. Like, that's how it works. I can show you every trick, every tool, every plugin that I use, and it doesn't matter. You're never going to sound exactly like me because you don't have my ears. But I can give you the tools of the trade to be good at what you do.
And that's interesting. I want to open that real quick if we got enough time.
Yeah, of course.
The secrets giving thing. I noticed that there's like a way, there's like a some separation of thinking about that. Some people think that you shouldn't give away your secrets, or some people think that you should, and if you don't, you're an asshole, or all the stuff. And this is interesting because I see that from it depends. Like, it really depends. I noticed that most of the time you should give away your approach or what, but because as you said, the other people won't sound like you.
Exactly.
So you shouldn't be in fear that they will steal your sound. But there are certain situations in which you stumble on something really unique, and there are some times in your career in which you shouldn't give away your secrets. And I can make one example.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, I would love to hear what was something you feel like you shouldn't give. Yeah.
in my case, nothing yet because I didn't stumble in something unique. But I can give you one example. Buster from Impact Studios.
Okay.
I don't know if you follow Nail the Mix, but some people have been wondering how he does the down tuning in that way for Humanity's Last Breath. There's like it's a fucking low thing, and still people didn't figure that out. And he said, no, I won't tell that. Because that's characteristic of my sound, and I think that's something that you tell after a while, after you don't even wanna operate that and much anymore, after you got established
on
I
can see
personal
that.
level. Because for example, he's already great. He already worked with some of the best core bands, but maybe he has still to go.
Yeah.
It comes to a point where you want to teach to people. I noticed that you don't want to be an operator anymore, and you want to teach, and you should give certain secrets. But yeah, most of the time you should have no problem in telling people what are you doing. Otherwise, you're being an asshole.
For sure. No, and I can see that. If you've got some like genuinely unique thing that you don't want to talk about with other people, then that's cool. I can promise you that there's not a goddamn thing that I'm doing that I wouldn't be completely okay with just being like, hey, look, this is my process. Like, I would love, because my logic is this. If I teach somebody, then 9 times out of 10, like, they're going to go out, they're going to do their thing. When it comes time to do something that's a little bit above their head, like above their pay grade, as far as like something that they don't necessarily understand yet, then they're going to send me those projects. It's like, I taught you how to record and mix. That's great. You got all the way through it. You did a fantastic job. I'm proud of you. But maybe you're struggling with mastering, or maybe scheduling wise, there's an issue with you and 2 bands. Then who's the first person you're going to call? The person who taught you. Like, I'm always there to help. I'm always there, and from a business standpoint, it's stupid to not want to build those relationships with as many people as possible, because they're going to come back to you. They're going to work with you. They're going to collaborate later down the road. Like,
okay, gotcha. The giving value.
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly. It's like, and for the YouTube side of stuff, it's like, I could give a crap less. I want every bit of the knowledge that we talk about on the channel, that I have, that I go over in Twitch videos, or Twitch streams or YouTube videos. I'm giving that out for free because I don't feel like that's shit that should be charged for. Now, you're talking about that dude with the Humanity's Last Breath, like his methodology for downtuning or getting clean downtuned guitar tracks. If that's something that is so unique that that nobody can figure it out, then that's dope. Like, he's got his niche, and later down the road, I'm sure he'll sell that bit of knowledge. But
I think that he might or sell that or just give it for free, because it's just not in the same plane thinking. I mean, it will not be that much important to be a secret to him, because he has got other plans in his mind. It's just like some people that maybe were cool mixing engineers and start their own plugins business thing. They start teaching. They are just upped to another level of thinking, and those things that before were important to them, or maybe keeping a secret or whatever, are not important anymore. They need to think. So yeah, it's more like down the road thing to me. But yeah, in generally, I think the same as you. It's cool to help other people in the at least in the basic thing, in the day-to-day, in the normal approach. I mean, even if there's something specific that you do, but not incredible secret, tell that. I mean, I've got no problem in telling the I don't know, vocal production that I make.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever. Like, if somebody asks me, they're like, hey dude, how did you get those vocals to sit like that in the mix? It's like, first off, that's a very open-ended question, because when you say sit in the mix, then I'm like, okay, I have to now tell you about the entire fucking mix process. But I can show you but I can show you what I did on my vocals and how I got them there. It's like, I have no problem explaining to you what compressors I use, what reverbs I use, what delays sound the best to me, and how I use my delays, because it doesn't matter. It's like, I want to help people create cool shit because I'm a fan of music. I am a fan of hearing that final product and being like, damn, dude, you killed it. Like, that is such a cool feeling, being like, yo, you killed it, and I had something to do with helping you get to that point. Like, that's dope.
Yeah, and about the one point that it came to mind when you said how to survive during the quarantine and all the stuff from the band perspective. Since I've been involved in some projects, and the one that might be released in 2021. I'm in one of the situations in which the quarantine is a great chance to write music and to plan things. Like even the indefinite situation, I mean, here, for example, we don't know when we'll be back live. Probably next fall, and man, it's so much time. So like, even this uncertainty, that can be so helpful in lining up the path that you want to go for. And to write things, to give the proper amount of time to things. Like for example, now I'm in a writer's block, lyrics wise, but I've got lots of creativity for the adding production to the project that I'm on, so I can focus on that, then work properly on lyrics. So for artists, I would suggest to work the most possible on the quality of the stuff that they're working on. And in this moment since you can't play shows, you don't have the same routine as bands, you know what I mean? So yeah,
absolutely. No, it's definitely, during quarantine, no, this is the time where you get to rehash your process and figure out and fine tune literally every step of the way.
And even as a producer, now I realize that this is a time in which you can expand your views, even career-wise. For example, this might be interesting. I'll try to be real quick, but this situation is really interesting, because maybe you did just mixing, mastering, or recording, okay? So just mainly engineering, okay, you were doing solid, now you're doing, I'm talking in general, not you, you're doing maybe less solid now. Okay, so how can I improve in other things? Maybe, for example, in this period of time, I discovered that there's like a great industry for making music for spots. The composition, soundtracks for spots, man, it's crazy. The possibility and the money making in there once you're in. So I noticed that, for example, I like to do soundtracks. I like to do the sound design of things, and I'm investing in that in time, and I'm trying to edit my videos a bit better in order to market myself way better now. So try to expand some your abilities and skills.
Definitely try different things.
Exactly. And maybe you would realize that you really like some stuff more. For example, now I want to do more soundtracks and sound design, beat making, and for the bands thing, I would like to do more mixing, mastering, or maybe just vocal production and mixing, or maybe a mix of things.
The more you divide yourself out, the more you find what you enjoy and what you can specialize in.
And then I can specialize in X things. And you can think about your business in way different ways, even with the restructuring of your website. It's something that doing so, you have to go. You came to terms with, you gotta face. So, and even your insecurities about certain things, and so it's a really cool opportunity, this isolation situation, for both producers and artists.
Absolutely.
Because that might not happen again in our lives.
No, definitely not.
Might not happen again, and we might be just caught up in the routine again. So I think it will be could just give it a shot. So
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry. It's getting kind of noisy on my end over here.
no worries.
No, but yeah, definitely. I like the idea of, now is that time where you're not going to get another chance at this much downtime in the industry. So taking that time to experiment and figuring out what you enjoy and what your niche truly is that's great.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, shit, even me. Like, I would have never thought about streaming. It wasn't something that I've always thought about wanting to do like a podcast or something, but like with streaming, I was like, dude, okay, I'm spending so much time inside. Not that that's any different than before quarantine, because people, like, a lot of people got hit hard by it. For me, it's like, I was kind of a hermit beforehand, so it's just like, now I just don't have the option to go out. So it's like, damn, this kind of sucks sometimes. Like
same. I try to stream things, and even maybe I mean, I don't know if you felt the same, but at the same time point, I wanted to have some kind of social contact, and I went to live streaming, even if I was just mixing. Like, I want to see people to see what I was doing and receive feedback. And I saw that some people would be interested. That's why I did the post yesterday on what you want to see on vocal production. And I intended to do some videos and to do just hop in and say hi or whatever. Yeah. And the thing it's another opportunity.
Exactly.
And it's free.
Yeah,
and
for
it's
real.
Free.
And that's the thing is, like, by the way, we really do need to collab on some videos. That'd be badass. But as far as like just the time to do shit, like now is your chance. Now is your chance to branch out and experiment. Because when it comes back down to when stuff opens back up, then as a musician, you're going to want to get back out and start doing shows, and everyone else is going to want to start doing the same thing. But right now, you can build that following. You can build that, because while you're trapped inside, guess what? Literally everyone else is too. So there's a thousand things you can be doing right now to better yourself that I feel like a lot of bands and musicians, they're not taking advantage of. They're like, oh God, they're worried about their income, they're worried about all of that, and it's like, dude, yes, those are valid things to be concerned for, but it's like, as long as you've got a job and as long as you're consistent on that, like as long as your finances are straight, then take this downtime from the time you would have been spending practicing with your band and playing shows and stuff, and put that into something else. Like, still practice your instrument, but don't be afraid to branch out, writing a different style, picking up a different instrument, even.
Bands get intimidated.
Yeah.
I think that people get intimidated by the situation and lose the will or the consistency. I don't know how to call it, but I saw people that prefer to play to the PlayStation on the PlayStation rather than making some music. You know what I mean? And that there are some those days like that, but I mean that must remain only few days like that. You know what I mean? So, and if it wasn't for the quarantine, I wouldn't be doing more editing videos. Like, I wouldn't try to improve the video editing thing, because it's something that I always hated. And but I said, hey, I got some time. I Final Cut Pro X is not that too much expensive. I can afford it. So let's try to improve on something that I will need, because I cannot always have to rely on X people for even portfolio videos. You know what I mean? Because not too much about the pricing, but availability. Maybe they got the other things to do. So and that for me, that encouraged me to improve on that stuff. If it wasn't for quarantine, I would be at the same level. I wouldn't try to be improving at all.
Yeah, for sure.
So that I should be kind of thankful, and that you can apply that. And you can apply that. My brain is freezing. On the other side of music and all the stuff.
Yeah. No, and I think the biggest thing is using this time to like, because we talked about earlier using social media and using online to reach out and build, because from what I gathered from that, you weren't necessarily like just like, you know, jumping in bands DMs like be like, hey bro, you need some recording done. Like, no, you were just doing your own thing and building your own reputation doing that.
Yeah.
And using strategies like that now is a fantastic thing. Like, I don't think bands realize that if you're a guitarist, you can play more than just your songs. So go make some videos of you playing other people's songs, and in the description maybe talk about, hey guys, if you like what you hear, I'm also in this band. Like,
exactly.
Go branch out, create some content of you doing your shit, and you will draw people over to your band, because the best way to market is for the people to not feel like they were forced into like, hey, go listen to my band. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the consumer should never feel like you pointed a gun at them and said, hey, listen or die. Yeah. Like it doesn't. No, that's a horrible logic.
And even let's say the social proof that, let's say you make a cover for X band and the X band reposts you, and that band has got a solid following.
Exactly.
People would be way more interested because their favorite band reposted your shit. So you will gather more interest. And one example for the covers is that I made a cover for a band, an Australian band, in April, that I really wanted to work with, and but like the first I try out as the salesman in the DMs, like, hey guys, are you working on new stuff? And let's say I would love to work, you know. Okay, yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, you're always gonna get that polite way of just response, like, oh, that's cool.
It's like because we already someone. Okay. Let's wait 1 week and let's do a cover of one of my favorite songs from them, dude. Mm-hmm. The vocalist hit me up was, hey man, incredible vocals. We talk a bit, and then I said literally the same thing that I wrote to their band's DM, and it was, yeah, we can do that.
It's like, hold up, wait, you guys just shot me down like a week ago.
And it's great because that's the confirmation of what I was saying, the empathy thing. Yeah. The empathy thing. I really gave them value by giving a fuck about their music, maybe, or performing my own version. And that song was so fucking sick. I'll send you
shoot me a link.
That's great, and I was truly happy to do that, and he felt that, and I mean, what happens in the band or vocalist process in this case is oh wow, he took the time to do that. I mean, not every time this happens. Some bands ignore you, and that's pretty rude, to be honest. When you get even ignored or whatever, like, man, I just want to have a feedback maybe on a cover, but that happens. Yeah, that might happen, and but most of the time, bands are happy that you do.
Oh yeah, dude, it's flattering as hell. Like, I have yet to see somebody do a drum cover for Mirror Lake. I am counting down the days to when I get my first drum cover. I don't care if you look like a monkey fucking a football playing a drum kit. If you took the time to try and make that cover, that is the most flattering and awesome thing ever.
Yeah, and just like that, one of the other things that for this some composer and the soundtrack thing that I started doing, one thing that might help one aside that I experienced lately is that I went for I really like 2D art, okay? Mm-hmm. I really like art, digital art. I'm a nerd of it, and I like really specific things. Mm-hmm. I got one of my favorite artists, and I subscribed to one of his tutorials, so he saw me putting interest in his stuff. Yeah. And because I was actually interested, so I had the content about him, about one specific thing, and every time I wanted to I use this approach for how can I say? Okay, so usually I write some stuff on my own, and then I hit up some specific artists that might benefit my music over their show reel videos.
Yeah.
sometimes they make some example videos like 10 seconds of their own animation. I can do this, I can do that. It's like a portfolio. Artists use the EG4 as portfolio.
Yeah, for sure.
So I said, okay, every time they put some music over that, because otherwise it gets boring as fuck.
Yeah.
And only the digital art nerds will get it. So since every lots have music on it, why can't I have my own music? So I said, let's make some songs that I like, and I'll put them like that. Okay, there. Those are those are free, copyright free. I don't give a fuck. So I'll put that, and I say, okay, I got a private portfolio that you might be interested in. Let's check it out. I send it, and man, one of those got so caught up with I loved the music and proposed me to do a paid project for a spot.
There you go.
And it was like my first thing. So that's one of the all of this was to say that's one of the situations in which knocking up as the salesman might work, but it's not a salesman.
It's one of those things where it's like you show genuine interest in a project, and that's easy.
Exactly.
That's easy to consider for anybody to want to bring you in on.
And you're trying to give him value because he needs a cool soundtrack on his showreel videos, so you helping him selling his own product, and that changes everything. So you see, you can use the giving value in various ways, and the socials now can help you so much. And even this, if it wasn't for lockdown, I wouldn't have done this at all.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. There's some ways to
absolutely.
Well,
no.
One of the things, one of the latest things that I want to say is that too many people think in a specific way. To me, it's a rotation.
Yeah.
To me, it's a rotations of tasks, like the band thing, the mixing thing, the recording thing, the beat making thing.
Yep.
I mean, based on what you're doing. So those are my activities mainly, and it's not just one.
Yeah.
Because if I was focusing on just one, I would get obsessed over it, and I will get burnout and fuck it up so bad, knowing myself. Yeah, it's like
it's like you get too much into a rotation, and you're just like, oh god.
I feel way better to do a rotational thing that comes down to the war thing.
Yeah.
Everything that I do somehow is finalized to bring me clients or situations of collaboration, but it's all for the AIDS thing or my audio to work. Just as the band thing, so it's way better because every time you refresh your brain, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, all the different tasks, and you know what I mean. So.
Yeah, for sure. No, sorry.
What?
No. Avery just like scurried under the desk and stuff, trying to stay out of the cameras. It's really funny. She's done that twice today. But anyways,
no funny.
Yeah, right. No, but anyways, yeah, I like the approach. I think that's definitely a much more unique style of coming at things. Like, you not necessarily going for like, hey bro, please work for me or work with me. It's like, no, hey, I'm a fan. I actually enjoy what you're doing. I feel like I have something to creatively contribute to what you're doing. And I love that. And you're talking about the what's it called? The adding the soundtracks to the.
Yeah, pretty much the music thing, doing the soundtracks
really cool.
for the showreel videos. And showreel videos, not anything else. I don't want to help them in other ways. I want to help them for their own specific showreel videos. Yeah. And that's because that's the only way I can give them value, because they're trying to sell themselves with that.
Absolutely.
They're showing their skills, and they know a cool soundtrack that enhances their skills.
Yep.
And that makes all the difference. So one of the other things that might be useful is the taking the artist clip without they don't even know, and then send them your own version.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I made this one. would you like it? And that's even a new level because you took the time to work on their own specific
Yeah, they didn't.
thing.
Yeah, they didn't ask you. You just kind of took it and were like, "Hey,
Yeah,
look, check it out. Look,
exactly.
if you don't like it,
I
don't
mean,
worry about it." But
yeah, I mean, Instagram is if you care about the copyright or whatever on Instagram, you're just stupid because so many pages don't even repost things and don't even tag the original artist. So you're doing something that's for their own good, at least.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. And
I've heard a lot of people. I was watching this one YouTube channel about a guy who he came up as a musician in the '90s, and when iTunes and everything hit, and artists weren't really being I don't even know what word I was trying to say there. Compensated. There we go. When artists weren't being compensated for for their work and for their efforts, what he started doing was he was like, you know what? Look, people are gonna steal this shit regardless. So he created these files that he uploaded to these torrent sites and included in the folder where you could download and steal his album. At the bottom, he just put a PayPal donation link. He was like, hey, look, you've got the music. If you enjoy it, if you want to support, please, by all means, help me out. Please don't steal my music. But since you already did, here's one last final ditch effort of, hey, please, here's my PayPal. If you like it, shoot me a donation. And he was like, dude, I made more money off of that than I did touring that year.
For real.
And so it's just like getting creative and doing shit. Like,
yeah, man, it's just like a tweak in the approach if you think about
Exactly.
that, and it makes all the difference.
you have to stand out
It's
apart
just-
from whatever somebody else is doing in
Yeah.
order to get ahead.
Yeah,
And that doesn't
Yeah, it's
necessarily
like,
mean working an extra 10 hours a day. If you can just figure out one little thing, like find some, it could be a funny story, like Instagram stories. You could do something funny at the during recording. You could have some funny ass saying, whatever. My personal favorite, my buddy actually said it one day. He was like, "Yo, it's Pro Tools, not Make a Wish." Because it was a band that I was recording, and one dude was like, "Yo, can you make me sound like?" Because he was asking if I could tune him and make him sound like a little bit like he wanted like a smoother texture to his voice. And his friend dead ass looks at him and was like, "Bro, it's Pro Tools, not Make a Wish." And I was like, that's my saying now. Like, if you look at my description on Twitch, that is my saying, and I am not letting that go. Like, I fucking love that. But
it's cool.
But it's like if you
a
just
good
have
one.
like those funny, like if you could turn that into like an Instagram story and like that was just like your compilation clips, and you just kind of push that shit out there, people that are watching it, you're gonna build a following on that. And then if they need production,
Yeah, man.
if they need recording, you're gonna be the first person they
One
think
of-
of.
One of the things that I realized if I will be making videos or streams is that basically I am a fucking idiot. Like really, I can be. You see that I'm kind of normal. Quite. I'm generally introverted, but I can be a real fucking ignorant like monkey if I go. So I said, okay, I gotta make some humor into this, even
Absolutely.
savage stuff. Do you know the Joe Rogan?
The Joe Rogan podcast? Yeah, I've never actually watched an episode, but I've basically heard it compared to, it's like the dudes version of Oprah at this point. Like all dudes are watching.
Oh yeah, man! It can be so fun. It's sometimes, and there are some crazy conversations there.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I took that as example the style of saying things, and even the positive and all the stuff. I said, okay, if I would ever make some videos or live streaming, so partly educational content, I gotta get some entertainment over that because I'm not one of the people. I'm not an educational person.
Mhm.
I'm not a like. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the okay. So here you mix the thing and the little
Oh, God, no.
like neutral teacher. There are some people like that. They're very good at teaching, but they got no humor. I mean, I get bored.
Oh, dude,
after
yes.
all,
I
and
feel like those videos are
I'm
horrible.
someone that will say, now I'm gonna take out some news on those ads and all this stuff in order to not make it suck and put in some shit like there and there.
It's like, yeah,
talking
I've
wise.
had
You know
people
what?
ask me, like one of my friends, I'm kind of teaching him little bits and here and there with recording, and he's like, "Hey, bro, what do you think about this drum mix that I did?" And he sends it to me, and I'm like, "Dude, your snare sounds like a wet, like it sounds like somebody is slapping a wet dog. Like, and he was like, "Oh, bro, that's fucked up." I'm like, "Yeah, but you have to understand that's how I was taught." Like, so at first, that's the first thing I jumped to. Like that. I mean, Avery was like, Avery would roast the piss out of me, and so I'm like, "Yeah, this sounds like a wet dog being slapped." Like, we got to work on this. And so like I helped him out, and like we broke it down and figured it out. But it was just like that initial bit of like, bam. I'm like, oh yeah.
For example, even the reaction videos to the mixes, I thought that it would be cool, interesting, and funny, like reacting to the mixes of things.
Yeah.
And
I'm actually. Have you ever watched the show? Have you ever heard of the show America's Got Talent? Like I know that.
Maybe once.
Okay, so
we got X Factor.
Yeah, so X Factor. Yeah. So in America, we have America's Got Talent. And one of my friends is actually, he was a semifinalist on that show. Like I went to high school with this dude.
Oh.
And his name's Andrew De Leon. He was like this gothed out dude that went on and did opera, and amazing vocalist. Like he's so fun to work with. But he's like, his video on America's Got Talent's YouTube channel is like their most viewed audition of all time. Like, cause he blew him the hell out. Like it's got like 400 million views or some stupid number.
What?
Yes. Like I'm telling you, like this month, like it was so funny because like I grew up I went to high school with this dude, and like I knew him. Like we were like friends in the same circle, but like on opposite sides of it. Like we never really talked or anything. But like after high school, like he went off and did that, and like it was just like, what the hell? And so nowadays he runs his YouTube channel, and he's got like 40,000 subscribers or some shit. And that's one of the things that we're doing is we're going to be it's like a reaction video where he's got some videos that he's found online that like some cool auditions or performances and stuff like that. And so we're just going to sit and be like, "Hey, look, this is, my ears as a producer, this is what I hear, like from a songwriter's perspective." And he's obviously a really good vocalist. So we're just going to kind of weigh in on it. And it's like, all right, that sounds like a lot of fun and absolutely no effort. So I'm so okay with this.
Dude, send me his YouTube channel, please, because I'm pretty much curious to see.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I saw something of him,
but
I don't actually remember now. And even the reaction to mixes, it will be so fun for.
If you just type in Andrew De Leon
colleagues
on YouTube, goth Andrew De Leon amazes the judges with his voice.
Okay,
like
perfect.
It's literally it's 57 million views on that.
Oh my god, porca puttana.
Yeah.
Mortacci. Something like that. And now it came to my mind.
This is the guy I'm talking about, chat.
Talking back about the rotation thing. One of the reasons that I really suggest the rotation approach is that even if you are specifying on some things, like let's say that you want to be a really great audio engineer, okay. And you try to push it too much and work with the best colleagues in the game and go to in the best studios and go as assistant. Not it might not play out. It might not play out and doing that specific only that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It can be so defying also.
Yeah,
because sometimes I mean. The same opportunities can come up by a different perspective. Maybe you will get to be friends with a X band in tour you're with, or that knows X producer. Then you both meet, and he's got a great studio, and maybe you can assist them way more easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, it like the oh my god, I wanna go to Abbey Road and do the assistant there. That approach of just one thing there is so full of failure. In this time and age, because everything is not sure now. There's so much instability, and you gotta raise up the percentages of success.
Yeah,
by
absolutely.
doing different things that bring you to just that one outlet.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing to take away from that is just get fucking creative and be flexible with what you want to do. Like, like for me, and I had this plan getting into music when I was a teenager, was I was coming into it and I was like, look, I may not be able to make it as a successful musician in the music scene. Regardless, I'm gonna make damn sure that what I do for the rest of my life is involved with music. And I knew that, you know, with production, that was just
Same.
That was something I always wanted to try out, and I felt like I could be pretty good at. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get in that. I'm gonna try being in a band. And worst case scenario, I've still got the studio. You know, I've still got that,
Same.
and I know that I'm gonna be involved in music for the rest of my life.
Same as like the I don't even would want to do the music the band thing full time, because I know that I might not be fit for that.
Yeah.
So I know that I want to be involved in music, and I want to do, but the band thing is something that I want to do as a hobby. I love to do, and that can help.
Yeah.
So much. So
Word.
He came up another time down there.
Yeah,
down.
She was like trying to sneak by, and I'm like, no, I can see you, like the camera. Anyways, well, that's actually, I mean, we're pretty much, oh my God, we're 30 minutes over how long I was expecting us to.
Man.
But anyways, man, it was an awesome conversation with you. I really appreciate you hopping on the show. And again, I'm gonna have all of your social media links when I upload this to YouTube. They will all be in the links in the description below. Thank you so much, and yeah, that's say your name one more time, just because I'm fucking terrible with it.
Davide Aroldi.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would so much rather you tell people how to say it than me butcher it.
Davide, not Davide, just Davide Aroldi. You can call me Dave, even in case.
Yeah,
Davide
Aroldi.
It's way
Okay.
easier. Davide, man, thank you so much for hosting.
Yeah,
me
man, not
on
a problem.
this. And it's cool.
All right, guys.
So keep it up.
Yep. All right, man. Well, you have a good one. All right. All right.
Bye, man.
Peace. All right, let me go back over here. Woo. All right, let's not display. All right, let's pull this up. All right, guys. Well, again, that's gonna wrap up the stream for tonight. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. And if you guys haven't already, be sure that you do go follow him on Facebook, Instagram. I know he's got all that. And yeah, be sure if you haven't already, follow my channel as well. All right. Peace, everybody.